Welcome back to My Digital Diaries. This is our Frontend Developer Course. In this section, React.js series, we are diving into advanced React component patterns today. These patterns will help you write cleaner, reusable and scalable React code. Before proceeding ahead, if this video helped you, please don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to My Digital Diaries. Also join our membership program. So let's get started with advanced React component patterns. Let's start with higher order components, which is also known as HOCs in the React. This is one of the classic advanced React component pattern that help us reuse logic and keep our components clean. So first, let's start with a question. What exactly a higher order component? A higher order component is simply a function. This function takes a component as input and returns a new component with some extra functionality added. In simple words, an HOC wraps an existing component and enhances it without changing the original component's code. You can think of it like this. You have a normal component and the HOC adds superpowers to it. Now let's understand why we should use higher order components. The first reason is logic reuse. Often in applications, we repeat the same logic in multiple components like authentication check or maybe logging, permissions or data fetching. HOCs allow us to write that logic once and reuse it across many components. The second reason is separation of concern. This means each component focuses only on what it needs to display, and the shared logic is moved outside into the HOC. As a result, our components stay clean, readable, and easier to maintain. Now let's look at the advantage of using HOCs. The first advantage is code reusability. Instead of copying the same logic again and again, we can reuse it by wrapping different components with the same HOC. Second advantage is separation of a concern. Business logic and UI logic stay separated, which makes the codebase more organized and professional. This was very helpful in large React applications before hooks become popular. Now let's discuss the disadvantage of HOCs, because every pattern has trade-offs. The first disadvantage is something called wrapper hell. When many HOCs are nested together, the component tree becomes difficult to read and understand. The second disadvantage is harder debugging. When something goes wrong, it can be tricky to track which HOC is causing the problem. And finally, HOCs are less common in modern React. Today, most of this logic is handled using React hooks, which are simpler and easier to use. Now let's quickly look at the code. Here we have a function called withAuth. This function takes a component as an argument called wrapped component. Inside it, we return a new component that checks whether the user is logged in. If the user is not logged in, we show a message saying please log in. If the user is logged in, we render the original component using grab props. Finally, we wrap the dashboard component using this HOC and export the protected version. This is very common authentication use case for higher order component. So to summarize, higher order components are powerful pattern for reusing logic and keeping components clean. Even though they are used less today, it's still very important to understand them, especially when working with the older code base or maybe preparing for interviews. Render props. Render props become popular as an alternative to higher order components and helped developers to write more flexible and readable code. So what exactly a render props is? A render prop is a pattern where a component receives a function as a prop. This function is then called inside the component to decide what should be rendered. In simple word, instead of hard coding JSX inside a component, we pass a function and that function returns the UI. This gives us a full control over how the UI should look, while the component itself manages the logic. So why to use render props? The first reason is to share logic between components. For example, logic related to mouse movement, scrolling or form handling can be written once and reused in many places. The second reason is that render props are more flexible than HOCs. Instead of wrapping components, we directly control what gets rendered using a function. Another important reason is that the logic is explicit. When you look at the code, you can clearly see where the logic is coming from and how the UI is being rendered. This makes the code easier to understand. Advantages. Now let's look at the advantages of render props. The first advantage is a flexible logic sharing. The same logic can be reused in different ways by simply changing the render function. The second advantage is clear separation of a concern. The component handles the logic and then render function handles the UI. Because of this separation, components become more reusable and predictable. Render props also have some disadvantage. The first disadvantage is verbose syntax. Using function inside JSX can sometimes make the code longer. The second issue is that nested function can reduce readability. If many components use render props inside each other, the JSX can become hard to read and maintain. Now let's look at the code. Here we have a component called mouse tracker. This component tracks the mouse position using the state. It listens to mouse movement events and updates the X and Y coordinates. Instead of rendering UI directly, it calls the this.props.render and passes the mouse position as data. In the app component, we pass a function to the render prop. This function receives X and Y and decides what should be displayed on the screen. So the logic is reusable and the UI is fully controlled by the parent component. This is the core idea behind the render prop. To summarize, render props is a powerful pattern for sharing logic in a flexible way. It gives better readability than HOCs in many cases, but can become verbose when overused. Even though hooks are more common today, understanding the render props is still very important for interviews and working with the existing React codebase. In this section, we will learn about compound components, which is an important advanced React component pattern used to build flexible and reusable UI components. You will often see this pattern used in components like tabs, accordion, dropdowns, and menus. What exactly is compound components? Compound component is a pattern where multiple components work together as a single unit. Instead of one large component doing everything, we break into smaller related components that share the state and behavior. These components are designed to be used together and they communicate implicitly through their parent. Now, why to use a compound component? The first reason is to build flexible and reusable UI component. This pattern allows developers to customize the UI without changing the internal logic. The second reason is better control. The parent component controls the behavior like state and logic, while the child components control the layout and the structure. This gives us a clean and powerful API while still allowing customization. Now let's look at the advantages. The first advantage is to a clean and declarative API. The code reads almost like HTML, and which makes it easier to understand and use. The second advantage is a flexible UI structure. Developers can rearrange or style child components without touching the core logic. This makes compound components ideal for reusable design system and libraries. Now, what are the disadvantages of using compound components? The internal logic can become complex. Managing shared state and communication requires careful design. It can be harder to understand initially, especially for beginners who are new to the React patterns. Once understood, however, it becomes very powerful. Let's look at the code example here. Here we have a tabs component that manages the active tab using state. It loops through the child components and renders button based on their labels. When a button is clicked, the active tab index is updated. Below that, the content of the currently active tab is displayed. We also have a tab component which simply renders its children. In the app component, we use tab and tabs together. This creates a clear and readable structure while the logic stays hidden inside the tabs component. This is a classic example of the compound components pattern. Now let's talk about controlled components. It is commonly used when you want full control over a state, especially in larger or more complex applications. What exactly is this? This is a pattern where the state is controlled by the parent component instead of being managed internally inside the compound component. The compound component still handles the structure, but the parent decides what the current state is and how it should change. This is similar to how controlled input works in React. Why to use controlled compound components? The main reason is to give consumers full control over a state management. This means the parent component can decide when and how the state change. It makes easier to manage complex interaction. It also allows better integration with external logic and application level state. So what are the advantages? The first advantage is that they are very flexible for consumers. The parent component controls everything, so behavior can be customized easily. The second advantage is that they work very well with external state manager like Redux. This makes the great choice for large scale application where the state is centralized. Now let's look at the disadvantage. The first disadvantage is more boilerplate for users. Since the pattern manages the state, it needs extra code for state handling and event callback. The second disadvantage is that this pattern can be overkill for simple use case. If the component logic is simple, a regular compound component might be a better choice. Let's look at the code. Here the tab component does not manage its own state. Instead, it receives the active and onChange as prop. It passes these values down to the child tab component. Each tab checks whether it is active and notifies the parent when it is clicked. In the app component, we use useState to control which tab is active. This makes the parent fully responsible for the state while the tab and tab component focus only on the rendering. This is the core idea behind controlled compound components. To summarize, controlled components give maximum control to the parent component. They are perfect for a complex scenario and for apps using external state management. However, for simple UI component, they might add unnecessary complexity. Understanding this pattern will help us to design more flexible and scalable React component. Now let's talk about a provided pattern which is widely used in React real-world applications. The provide patterns use React's context API to share a state or data across the entire component tree. A provider wraps part of the application and makes the data available to any child component without explicitly passing props. This helps us to manage shared data in clean and organized way. Now, why to use a provider pattern? The first reason is to avoid passing props through the many levels, a problem commonly known as a prop drilling. The second reason is to share global state, for example, theme setting, authentication status, or maybe user information or language preference. With the provider pattern, any component can access this shared state directly. So what are the advantages we get from the provider patterns? It eliminates the prop drilling. Components only consume the data they need. Another advantage is clean global state management. The logic for shared state lives in one place, making the application easier to maintain and scale. What are the disadvantages? One issue is that it can cause unnecessary re-renders if the context value is not optimized properly. And another challenge is the debugging the context flow can be tricky, especially when many providers are nested together. Because of this, context should be used carefully. Let's look at the code example here. Here we create a theme context using react.createContext. Then we define a theme provider that manages the theme state using useState. This provides a wraps the application and passes theme and set theme as a context values. Inside the bottom component, we use context to access the theme and update it when the button is clicked. Finally, in the app component, everything is wrapped inside the theme provider. This allows any child component to access and update the theme easily. To summarize, the provider pattern is a powerful way to share a global state in React. It helps avoid prop drilling and keeps shared logic centralized. However, it should be used wisely to avoid performance and debugging issues. That's a wrap up on the advanced React component patterns in our React.js series. I hope this helped you to write cleaner and more scalable React components. If you found this useful, then please do like, share and subscribe to My Digital Diaries and join the channel for more front-end development context. See you in the next video. Thank you.